Assalamu alaikum. What are the opinions of the Muslim youth on the critical issues in which society face daily? So let's begin with the first topic.
What do you think about current elections and parties in it?
I think this general election has been quite interesting because you can see especially since the whole Gaza situation and the main parties, Labour and Conservative, how they've not chosen to call for a ceasefire, it's led to lots of independent candidates coming forward, which you don't usually see. Well, you do see independent candidates, but not to this number. So I found that quite interesting.
It's definitely been on people's minds for a while that there needs to be a change in government.
Yeah.
Because, well, the current government isn't doing anything good. And I think, well, we all know Labour is most likely to win, even if in different constituencies they don't. It's most likely that they will have a majority, or there'll be a hung parliament. Conservatives, it's not very likely that they'll win.
Especially since what the Conservatives have done, with the COVID and the whole PPE scandal and just everything. During COVID, when they were having parties, when everyone was in lockdown, it's it's just been quite a shambles apart. These couple of years, I definitely think Labour's going to win.
The only thing that they have going for them at the moment is the inflation rate has gone down.
But it's a very small amount.
A very small amount. And that's probably why they called for the election. They're it's not going to get better than this.
But it did go up because of them also. They caused it to come up.
Brexit.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the independent candidates?
I think there are quite a lot of independent candidates at the moment. I haven't done much research into a lot of them, except for Corbyn and Andrew Feinstein, of course. Andrew Feinstein, it's interesting that he's focusing on Gaza a lot, but he's focusing on the housing issue as well. I was speaking to him, and he was telling me about how the housing situation in Holborn and Kentish Town, it's appalling. They're knocking down buildings to create luxury flats, and when they rehome people, they make you bid on where to live, which is they do that with council housing a lot as well. So if you're living in temporary accommodation, then there'll be a site where you have a number, and it tells you what your priority is to get into a new house.
Oh wow!
And that's for people who single parent families, people below the poverty line. They're living like this currently. So Andrew Feinstein, he wants to
change that.
He wants to change that. He wants to approve that. Obviously, he wants to advise people on why we should stop selling arms to Israel. Because he's quite knowledgeable on that, and he's very knowledgeable on oppression, and because obviously he worked with Nelson Mandela during the apartheid. He was actually part of the government in the 1990s. So.
What I've noticed with a lot of these independent candidates is a lot of them coming forward is, I think Palestine was a big catalyst for this.
Definitely.
Because since the whole situation in Palestine, a lot of these have come out because of Labour and Conservative not calling for a ceasefire. And there's also Leanne Mohammed in Ilford North. She's a young Muslim woman. She's quite good. She cares about the NHS, cares about putting a ceasefire in Gaza. And I think, because West Streeting is who she's against, and I think it will be a big wake-up call if, I think he's the shadow health minister or something for Labour. If she gets it and he doesn't, I think it will be a good wake-up call for Labour, and to show them you can't not call for a ceasefire. You can't
continue.
Yeah, you can't continue with what you're doing. Yeah,
the people aren't happy, and you're meant to be representing these people.
Yeah,
I've noticed that Labour are just arguing Conservatives out, Labour in, but all the independent candidates are saying, "Why do you have to vote for Labour?"
I've been researching on Noor Jahan Begum, and she has worked in social care, and she has lived in that area for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Her main manifesto is to increase affordable housing and to tackle homelessness. And moreover, she's increasing funding for NHS and to improve public service, and her main issue is to tackle cost of living crisis.
I think it's really good when you have people like Noor Jahan, because she's actually from the area.
Yes,
she cares about it, and she already witnesses firsthand what the issues are. I think because a lot of these politicians nowadays, they're all career politicians.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem. They just care about how they can get better for themselves.
What's good about independents as well is they don't have that party loyalty that tells them what they have to advocate for. Because
Yeah, 100%.
it's like a part of the MP code of conduct that you're not meant to, you're meant to show public unity. The people that you're representing need to think that as a party, you're unified. Even if you have disagreements behind closed doors, you don't vote against your party. But with independent candidates, they can vote however they want. They can stick to their morals, which is good, obviously. And it's interesting to see that the other parties are talking about the voting system. They're talking about the NHS. They're talking about taxes. But the independent candidates are talking about problems within their constituencies rather than just national problems. And of course, national problems are going to be debated at Parliament, and obviously they're going to pay attention to that. But they're also showing their constituents that we care about you.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one good thing about independent candidates. But what are your opinions on them? Like, do you think by voting independent, it's more like it's going to see a bigger change than voting the parties, or like, what's your opinion?
Honestly, I was quite skeptical that an independent could make any change, because there's no way for them to have a majority in Parliament. How are you going to make a change if you don't have a majority?
Yeah.
And then when I was speaking to Andrew Feinstein yesterday, he said, well, you can put pressure on people. You can talk to them privately and tell them that this is what you need to do, and my constituency wants this to happen, your constituency wants this to happen. They have more power than MPs who are part of a party, because they can just go whatever way they want.
And they care about the area a lot more than these other MPs. Like with Leanne, she helped in the local food bank when she was younger. She was part of, like, she led a youth council. Like, she's very much involved in the community already. Same with Noor Jahan.
Yeah, true.
I don't know much about Andrew, is he?
Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, we all saw what Keir Starmer said about Bangladeshis. And there are so many Bengalis in his community.
Yeah.
Andrew Feinstein, on the other hand, he's actually a part of this community. He's talking to them. He went around to loads of shops. The shop owners knew him. They were friends with him. Keir Starmer, I mean, they probably know about him, but do they like him?
Yeah, he's just a career politician. Should we move on to the next question?
Do you think that the political parties' manifestos represent Muslim youth?
What's your opinion on that?
Well, for starters, should we go into what the manifestos are advocating for? I mean, Labour is advocating for change. They want Conservatives out, they want Labour in. They're advocating that the political party should act in servitude to its people. That is in their manifesto. It shouldn't be a system that serves the politicians, but should serve the constituents, which is interesting. Again, Keir Starmer's comments. Green Party, everything in their manifesto starts with fair.
Yes.
Fair, 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 fair. That's what they're calling for. They want a unified country. They want a better country, a greener country, and they're also talking about humanitarian issues. They want to switch to proportional representation as well, so...
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I mean, proportional representation only works if you do it right. We've seen...
From when I studied it in Weimar, Germany, it didn't turn out very well.
It turned out basically the worst way possible.
Yeah, with all the coalition
which is
governments.
very, very sad, of course.